Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar from KTH Royal Institute of Technology. To all of you who are just tuning in, you may either be a current applicant waiting for admission results to be posted, or you may just be curious about what KTH is and how it could be your possible future university. During this webinar, we will be talking about some great reasons for why you should pursue your master's degree with us. But before that, I would like to tell everybody that during this webinar, you are able to send to us your questions via the Q&A function here in Zoom. So who are we? So let's introduce ourselves, Björn.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Björn Thuresson. I'm a researcher and teacher here at KTH, and my main subjects are visualization, graphics, and game design, and these type of topics.
And everyone, I'm Rafael. I come from the Philippines, and I'm a current international master's student studying masters in sustainable urban planning and design here at KTH. All right, so for this webinar, we will be explaining to you why choosing to study at KTH would be the best decision you've made so far this year. Today, we will introduce to you 5 topics about KTH. If you're interested in how we integrate sustainability in our education, how we make society a better place with research and new innovative technology, or how and why the industry is closely connected to the education and how a degree from us will impact your future career, then follow along and we will give you the answer to why you should choose KTH. So first, we go over the topic of sustainability. Sustainable development is a natural aspect of Swedish society and an integral part of KTH's operations and spirit. We will introduce you to KTH's sustainability approach in the coming slides, but before doing so, we would like to get to know you a bit better. Thus, a poll or a question will be appearing in your screen, and we would like to ask everyone, is a focus on sustainability an important aspect in your choice of future studies? Yes or no? So please answer yes or no, and we will see some results among those joining this webinar today.
Oh, yes. Yes. Numbers are pouring in. Happy to see.
Would you say, Björn, like some of your students in the university would answer yes or no to this question?
A definite yes. Definite yes. Because since it's so important, it infiltrates all over the world.
Yeah.
And particularly in companies, it gets more and more important to have a clear strategy for sustainability. So for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think we have a pretty clear answer getting in here as well.
All right.
It seems to be slowing down now. So.
All right. So what are the results? Okay. So far we have 94% said yes, and we have 6% no, or shall I say not yet?
Not yet?
Not yet.
Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. So let's proceed. In regards to KTH and sustainability.
Then I need to find where this is so I can. There it is.
All right.
There you go. This sort of works.
So I'm wondering if any of you participants in this webinar here know about the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. Just a matter of fact, KTH is ranked 46 among universities worldwide in the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings that assess universities' performance against these United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Graduates from KTH have the knowledge and tools for moving society in a more sustainable direction, as sustainable development is an integral part of all our programs. On this next slide, we will give you some examples how.
Yes, since this is, like I said earlier, this is an integral part of all programs, but we also have a number of very specific programs. So all in all, we have 63 English taught programs. And here we have chosen a couple of examples where they have a specific aim towards sustainability. So let's see if I again can find this mouse. I'm struggling here. Well, the first one is the sustainable digitalization. It is a very new program that has, because the need has been there for a very, very long time. How do we make best use of the digitalization tools and methods towards a sustainable society? Most of them are already there, but we have to prepare and pave the way on how to integrate them. The next example is in embedded systems. And here it's in transistor-based electronics and computer systems, and how they can be used for a sustainable society in short.
Yeah,
and it's your program, right?
Yeah. So sustainable urban planning and design. So at least with my experience, so I know that in planning and design of cities and towns, the importance of the environmental impact in planning, responsibility in the use of natural resources, and potential innovative solutions are required, is a must in today's world. Through exercises and lectures that we go through, we've been encouraged to incorporate a socio-ecological approach to new technologies, sustainable materials, green solutions and strategies, or whatnot that may enhance ecosystem services, uplift human development, and at the same time nurture and cultivate our shared natural environment. On our website in KTH.se, you can explore what sustainable development goals your programs primarily address. This is outlined for each and every program. One thing, however, that I could say that I've learned with my courses the past year is the need to have critical thinking, even about the sustainable development goals themselves. Thus, even if we have a great integration of these SDGs in our programs, the university continues to strive to keep developing and improve the way it imparts sustainability. For instance, integrating social sustainability aspects, especially equality and diversity perspectives in engineering disciplines and our research work. So how about sustainability in regards to KTH, the university itself?
Yeah, as we talked about, it's integrated all over the place in all aspects of the organization. And in the latest report on the Sustainable Development Goals from 2022, you can read a lot of these highlights on how we address these challenges. But so it's in all aspects. Of course, it's in research, and many of the topics also focus specifically on sustainability, but also in education. In all educational courses, you have to consider, does this has any sustainability aspects to it? Sometimes the answer is no, but very often it is yes. And of course, it's also in the operational activities. We have this main campus where we are currently sitting, but we also have a number of other campuses. We see them later. But in all the running of these buildings, when we build new buildings, of course, we have that in mind. And also when it comes to making use of the energy efficiency and these type of things, all of that is something that we try and bring back to make sure that, for example, what we have learned in research, that it's in practical use. We live as we learn.
Yeah. Well, for my part, at least in my experience, the past year and a half that I've been studying here, I've seen firsthand that a lot of students both know and care about sustainability, whether in practice in their education or down to personal practices. And I see this through a lot of student-led seminars and workshops, student volunteers for the COP27 and COP28, for example, which happened the past year. And these are global climate change conferences of the United Nations, and down to smaller details such as recycling and garbage segregation on campus. Okay, so now that we had an overview about sustainability, we will go through the great industry presence felt during one's education at KTH. So the next topic is, as shown in the screen, connection with the industry. So KTH emphasizes the practical industrial applications of knowledge and courses, and they have close ties to the latest research and industry. Industry collaboration extends beyond campus buildings and thus brings in different perspectives and fosters new ideas. But talking about campus buildings, what are the examples of some buildings on campus that have been crucial to industries in Sweden as well as abroad?
Yeah, currently, KTH is located at 5 different campuses all around the city. And these are strategically placed. So the surrounding, the nearest surroundings are relevant. Typically, the industries and organizations that are located there. For example, the research and education at KTH in Flemingsberg is focused on the overlap between technology and medicine. Flemingsberg is one of the Northern Europe's most prominent centers of medical engineering in terms of both research and industrial activities. And if we go and have a look at KTH Solna, there you'll find Science for Life Laboratory, the SciLife Lab. Among other things, it's a national center for molecular biosciences with a focus on health and environmental research. And also very close to both of these campuses are the Karolinska Institute, for example, which we collaborate with a lot.
Okay, that's very interesting. I personally haven't been to the other campuses with my program, but definitely in the main campus, I see a lot of things happening in terms of sustainability.
Yep. And of course, we try and collaborate and work closely with all of these as much as we can. And talking about the industry collaboration, of course, we want to have a high international quality in both research and education. And one factor into this is to have a close contact with industry, organizations, and the rest of the society. So the collaboration is something that we very highly value highly and really want to work closely on. One way of doing that is to have adjunct professors. And that is that it's qualified people from the industry coming in and working here at KTH. Together it could be a research project, but it can also be in practical sense, conducting courses and giving guest lectures and these type of things. So that's one very straightforward way of getting a very concrete access to what is happening right now in industry, in the different domains, of course.
Okay.
And by working closely with this kind of expertise, we can ensure that we remain relevant. So we always know that what is actually happening there is something that we need to relate to. And that, of course, can have very practical consequences that we actually change and to some degree adapt our courses. And as another example, in most master programs, there are quite a few project-based courses, and these are all often together with industry partners. Also, although it can be a little bit different between the different programs, many master thesis projects are done together with a company or an organization. For example, in the programs where I mostly teach, which is computer science and media technology, close to 100% of the master thesis students do it at a company. And that can be a gaming company, banks, media companies, whatever. And but it can be very different depending on the type of program. So I don't know, what is it like in your program?
Yeah, in regards to my program, for example, several of my professors collaborate, and I would say could be considered treasures of knowledge for municipalities and built environment consultancies around Sweden. In thesis work, for example, or as well as class projects, as you mentioned, we get opportunities to be exposed to and brainstorm solutions for real-life challenges presented by municipalities, the nation, or even the EU through projects managed by industry partners in collaboration, of course, with our professors. If you have a particular program or study in mind and want to know more about its industry connection, you can check out the student interviews on the KTH website. One such example is on this next slide. On the website, you can find student interviews from all our programs in regard to working with industries while studying at KTH. So here you see Harris, an international student at KTH from India, who studies a master's in engineering material science. You can also contact the student ambassadors for each program on our web to learn more about each program and just to ask about student life in general.
Yeah, make use of that opportunity because you have lots of evidence there on how people have it here.
Yeah. Okay, so now we proceed to the next topic. This next topic is innovation. Sweden is a nation known for its advances and innovations, from the life-saving seatbelt and the pacemaker to modern services like Spotify and Skype. The father of Swedish innovation himself, Alfred Nobel, his legacy of contributions for humanity can be seen in the Nobel Prize Awards. Following in the footsteps of Nobel and other Swedish innovators, KTH inspires students to look for inventions in challenges and real-world problems, contributing to a brighter tomorrow. So thus we have another question for you guys attending this webinar. Which of these companies that you will see on screen do you think are KTH startups? So reading the options, so if I pronounce them right, Allure, Custom Lipstick Online, Rally Energy, Unlocking Batteries, maybe Rally, Full Potential, Imagi, Teach and Learn Coding Creatively, or Greenly, the next generation household energy platforms. So while waiting for your guesses, or if you are familiar with any of these startups, then your answers. How is the start in your industry, Björn? How is the startup industry, or like how with graduates or your current or past students, are they into startup?
It has we have seen a shift in the last 10 years that more and more are looking into setting up their own startup or joining startups because it's challenging. We know that we have a lot of very interesting technical opportunities now, and many of our students want to explore that for some time and see what they can do with it. If we go further back in time, we saw a lot of them were more interested in more established industries and these type of things, but we have seen a clear shift there. So it's a lot better mix now.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So how about the mix of our participants for this webinar? So
yep.
What is our statistic?
They thought Greenly was 76% there, but and the correct answer is
all. So all of these companies are actually from KTH. So it's surprising how many creative or new ideas come from KTH. But okay, so what can we go through in terms of like in this brief time that we have for this webinar about innovation and KTH?
Yes, we'll see.
Okay, so as we know, Sweden, so before going to innovation, KTH's innovation aspect, so let's take a step back into Sweden and innovation. So Sweden is ranked #2 in the world when it comes to innovation, and that's according to the Global Innovation Index of 2021. A couple of examples of Swedish innovations and the inventions are Skype, Spotify, Bluetooth, Tetra Pak, if you've heard these, or the modern seatbelt and pacemaker. I'm guessing you all know about the Nobel Prize, but it actually originates from the Swede Alfred Nobel, who invented the dynamite. So now that we know a little bit about the context of creativity and innovation in Sweden, then we go to KTH. What part does KTH play in terms of innovation?
Yeah, if we keep sending out names, SoundCloud, Volvo, Pressi, what do you think they have in common? They were all founded or co-founded by former KTH students. Volvo, that was quite some time ago. Pressi and SoundCloud, it's fairly recent anyway. And at KTH, of course, we want to foster anyone who's interested in entrepreneurship. We want to foster that type of mindset. But even if you're not interested in forming that yourself, you should have that type of idea on how, the way to approach the world. Never Definitely. Take anything for granted. You can make it happen if you set your mind to it. That type of mindset we really want to instill in our students. And one way of getting your wildest tech ideas is together with KTH Innovation, which is an in-house incubator where you, in parallel with your studies, you can develop the initial parts of a startup. So it's designed to work in parallel with your studies. So they support students and researchers who want to develop this type of idea. Even if it comes from research, for example, which applies to the likes of me, or if it's part of a project in a course or something, or you met your peers that you absolutely love. I would love to do this with. Then you can have that opportunity together with KTH Innovation. And what you see here on this slide, it's a result from that. This is a combination of a number of researchers here and together with some students. This is something called fur hat robotics. I think the name sort of tells itself. It has a fur hat.
It looks like a fur hat.
Yeah, and it actually is.
It actually is. Okay.
Initially, it was to hide the technology that was in this plastic head thingy. So that's why they put it on. But then why not name the company after it? So, and KTH Innovation offers support on business development and how to get the funding for the different things you need. Typically, early ones you need to do some market research, and perhaps you need to get in contact with some early investors, and often a big problem. All of these agreements and legal aspects on that can really make your startup take off. So KTH offers and provides these opportunities for students. And well, the numbers sort of speaks for themselves, and you can definitely go and have a look at their website, and because there you'll see the companies that were in the recent last poll, for example. All of them are results from this KTH innovation aspects. All of them are results from their incubator. And here we have a completely different example. This is from where I am. This is a visualization studio. I'm the manager of this studio. And here we see the video here. We see this was from last December, when there was a course in advanced graphics and interaction, and the students showcased their projects to visitors of all ages. Let's see if we can. Thank you, Rafael. And many of the courses that we have in the studio, they are project-based, and the main pedagogical idea is to learn by building. So we provide you access with all the different hardware and software platforms that are relevant. You can see a number of them here. And this hands-on approach leads to a lot of valuable practical experience. And you can, of course, build your portfolio with concrete examples of state-of-the-art methods and equipment. And quite a few of these projects also enter the in-house incubator later on, because they have this practical aspect to it.
I actually, so this video comes from Instagram. So Sana was posted this on Instagram with our team. And I actually visited this demonstration or this exhibit last year. And I actually found it very interesting. Like I saw some projects such as Submerge, which actually came from the students' passion about sustainability and cleaning up the oceans.
Yep.
And so I find it really interesting that the students integrate their passions with technology and AI and all of these visual communications.
Now that was a VR experience, right? And
yeah.
And you were like a diver.
Yes, yes.
So you can swim under the sea, and then you can see at different times what does a seabed look like. And of course, it's not to look good in the 50s, but now. So of course, all of these combinations are possible.
Yeah, amazing. Unfortunately, my swimming in the VR wasn't so well. All right, so now that we've discussed sustainability, connection with the industry, and innovation, we now proceed to discuss the aspect of research at KTH. Research at KTH promotes interdisciplinary collaboration that provides conditions for new pioneering knowledge that contributes to solving future challenges. Let us introduce now the importance of research at KTH and how you can get involved already as a master's student if this is something that would interest you. So KTH is Sweden's largest technical research institution and has grown to become one of Europe's leading technical and engineering universities. The research is divided into 5 schools, as shown on the screen, on the upper right of the screen, and each are responsible for a specific research area. KTH's research centers perform research in new research areas and often in close collaboration with society and the industry. Each center gathers expertise within various specialized areas through projects that spans over several years. KTH's research centers can be divided into 7 research areas: digitalization, energy, industrial transformation, life science, materials, transport, and sustainable development. And as you may guess, all of these areas, of course, are connected, and the research mostly takes an interdisciplinary approach to solving, respectively, especially with interdisciplinary roots of challenges and problems.
Yeah, exactly. Because most successful research is done in collaboration with others.
Yeah.
You might be damn good at what you happen to be good at, but if you combine that with some other expertise, that's when things really start happening. So now we move over to the next poll. So would you like to be involved in research as a student? Perhaps that is not an obvious thing, but we would like to talk to you a little bit about that.
Yeah, definitely. If I may share, like when I was first initially applying to study at KTH, I did not initially think about research. I was just thinking about the programs, what I could get from this, what knowledge could be imparted to me. But as soon as I started the courses at KTH, I realized, wow, what impact I could do to help the academe, society with class projects, and eventually my thesis, which I am working on right now. So definitely it would be very interesting if you as an applicant or a future student would actually have this in mind, somewhere in the corner of your mind, the aspect of research and KTH when applying.
I'm really happy to hear that because it's part of the idea that we have here at KTH that all teachers should also research and all researchers should also do teaching. So we really strive at having a close connection between them. And of course, including students in the actual research activities, one way of doing that.
Yeah.
If we look at the results, I'm really happy to see that 97% of you are really keen on being involved in research in one way or another. I'll give you a couple of examples how that can be done, but not necessarily all of them. So you can be involved in the research that is being conducted here. It is not uncommon that vacancies as research assistants or similar are published on the website. So you can always have a look at the website and you can go in and have a look right now and see if there are any openings right now. So you get a little bit feel what they are looking for, which areas that might be and whatnot. Because it can, of course, be different depending on which area you're particularly interested in, how common that is. I'm, for example, involved in several research projects where we employ students as, and that is typically as research engineers. Since I'm in computer science and media technology, we often need people that can realize the ideas that the researchers might have, can actually build the things. So they're typically employed to do the building of the technical solutions and in close collaboration with the researchers. And the solutions can then be tested. And whatever you learn from these type of tests, of course, you develop it further. So if you think of a career in research, or just like 97% of you is just interested in research in general, these can be great opportunities to build your portfolio and CV.
Definitely.
And at the same time, you make some money. So, and that's not
Not bad.
It's not unimportant. And concretely, the first step directly after your master studies is perhaps to apply for a PhD position. And as a doctoral student, you can you have great opportunities here. And recent numbers are that about 12% of our international students go on to do a PhD here at KTH. So that is a good number. It's actually higher than our
the average
than our local
students,
which is odd, but that's how it is. And here at KTH, doctoral studies is a 3-year full-time research endeavor, and then 1 year of courses. Typically, these courses are spread out over the full time. And in some other programs, it can also span over 5 years. So you can extend that. And that can mean that you have 20% of your time is to do departmental duties, perhaps teaching. So some of these, you will see that if you look at the end, some of these is not 4 years, but 5 years. And that, of course, those extra percent gives you another opportunity to build your portfolio, to have concrete examples of teaching. That provides you a better career opportunity afterwards. Right now, we have about 2,000 doctoral students, and more than 50% of them are international. You apply via the KTH website, but just so you know, it is often very, very competitive.
Okay.
It is quite often hundreds of applicants to this position. So make sure you do well here in all your courses, but particularly in the master thesis, because that's a key instrument if you want to go further.
Okay.
And another pro of pursuing a doctoral studies in Sweden in general, but of course you will come here, is that PhD students, they are actually employed by the university. So you will receive a monthly salary. So you will be an actual employee here at the university.
I think I could say that I'm actually convinced. Now I will search the KTH website to look for PhD position.
It is and also the chapters, it has a strong community. So the PhD students, they have a good time and support each other.
Okay, that's nice to hear.
In general.
All right, it's nice to hear. Well, here, for example, this is one video that I posted on the KTH Instagram. So as you know, with many programs in KTH related to tech, AI, and human-computer interaction, one student may once in a while find requests to participate in research, which I would say it could be fun. Similar to what you see in this video of me engaging and testing my reflexes compared to a robot that was put in front of me. It would definitely be an interesting experience and a way to know more about what other students study and do research on while you are studying yourself.
Yeah, for master students, many of the theses include these type of studies.
Okay.
So I always have a lot of my students doing their master thesis are looking for participants. To do these type of tests. So that is not a problem.
Okay. Okay, so now that we discussed the first 4 topics, we finally arrive at our final topic in this webinar. We will be talking about career prospects. A KTH degree is a sign of academic excellence, ambition, and an innovative mindset. KTH graduates are highly attractive on the job market and have exceeded in a wide range of fields. And how do we know that? Let us explain how a degree from us will impact your future career. A KTH degree symbolizes academic excellence, ambition, and again, an innovative mindset. Graduates from KTH are in high demand in the job market and have excelled across various fields. As mentioned, students that enjoy research in academia can also go on to pursue a doctor's degree But if you are more into landing your dream job after graduation, KTH can help you start your career development while still a student. You can get tips about career planning and career paths, or even learning how to market yourself across networks. KTH Career can help you with career coaching and give you tips and tricks, everything from how to write the best CV to how to nail the interview. More information on this, together with other student services, are accessible through the KTH Student Web and the KTH website. So as you see on the screen, some statistics, recent numbers on KTH graduates and job prospects. Over 50% have a job before graduation, according to the latest career report of KTH. And much of this is actually thanks to KTH's strong reputation among employees. In the QS Graduate Employability Ranking of 2022, KTH ranked as number 70 in the world for employer reputation. And the next one.
Yeah, we just briefly mentioned these thesis projects for the degree project. And each year there are more than 1,000 posted on the KTH project portal. And it's companies and organizations, and it's from very, very large and big ones like Ericsson and Saab and whatnot, but also to a number of small tech startups or anything in between.
Yeah, and it's also worth mentioning that you can apply for a job seeking permit after graduation, especially if you do not find a job yet while you are studying, which is the normal case, the default case. And this allows you to stay 1 year in Sweden and apply for a job or PhD position after graduation. And you may ask, what is in store for you as alumni of KTH? Well, we could say a lifelong relationship. There are around 100,000 KTH graduates around the world, and the alumni community enables you to maintain and widen your social and professional network. KTH has 15 official alumni chapters, and there are also numerous KTH alumni groups offering exclusive social events and networking opportunities. It is, though, worth mentioning that it can be challenging as well, of course, finding a job as a new graduate. It does take time and effort, and a KTH graduate is no way exempted from the global or national challenges that the job market faces wherever you are a graduate. But definitely what we can say is the support services offered by KTH can help you as early as when you are pursuing your education here at KTH. More information on this, again, together with other student services, are found in the KTH Student Web and the KTH website. So thus, we have another question for all of the participants of this webinar. And the question is, the choice of my program to study is influenced by career opportunities. Is this true or false? Yes or no?
It's coming in here, and it's a lot of yes.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
To answer this myself, I say 100% for me, yes. And I looked at the KTH website when picking a program, and what I really like about the KTH website is it has student interviews and alumni interviews as well, and you get to see where they are right now, what they're doing, what they did from graduating at KTH, and how did they get to their position now. And in a way, it helped me choose my program, but it was also inspiring, like just in general, just to read their stories.
Yeah, and the alumni community has been mentioned here. It's very, very, very strong. Former students of KTH, they keep in contact for the rest of their lives.
Okay.
So it's very, very strong. And of course, alumni will help you get your future jobs. That is, if you have a LinkedIn profile or similar, you will be contacted because they know what it means to go over here and how valuable it can be. So, and we've been fortunate in putting alumni all over the world. So
nice.
so yeah. There almost always there is a KTH alumni that that you can talk to and chat to and whatnot.
Yeah, I think even on LinkedIn, KTH has an alumni group there, which you can see different stories about KTH alumni.
And in your case, it was 87% of you that think of the career as one of the possible reasons for choosing KTH. I'm happy to hear that, and whatever we and all of the different support services, what they can provide, hope they can meet your needs.
Yeah, definitely. And now, okay, in terms of career, what else do we have at KTH? I would like to tell you about student-led or student-run activities and organizations. The THS, or the KTH's Student Union. It is an organization run by students themselves. And as a student at KTH, you have the right to influence your education. And THS, this main organization, can help you to do just that, as the main purpose of THS as a student union is to safeguard this quality of education that KTH provides. They also organize events for students, and one annual event, specifically THS Armada, as you see on the screen. So this picture on the screen is at the KTH library, and this is where they have the THS Armada Career Fair. It is the largest student-driven project at KTH, and it's a fair where students from KTH and companies, meaning possible future employers, can meet and create networks and relationships. THS Armada arranges this largest career fair in Scandinavia at KTH main campus. Every year, more than 12,000 of Sweden's top engineering and architectural students flock to visit the fair to meet their future employers. The fair is a 2-day event with companies from all over the world. The fair takes place at KTH campus, as I mentioned earlier.
It's a great activity. I really love that. And since you can tell, I've been here for some time. I have a lot of former students in so many different companies, and many of them, of course, they come to Armada to try and recruit, and then they typically ask me to come over, so I can nice. go and chat to former students. So it's a great way to build your network. So make use of all these opportunities once you're here. Because there are quite a bit. It's not only the Armada, which is the largest one, but the different chapters also organize specific. Yeah. So you have the computer science department chapter. They organize their own. Media technology organize their own, and a couple of others also organize their own ones, and thereby inviting companies that are specifically relevant to that particular program. Armada is more general, since that it invites all type of companies that might be relevant.
I think in career fairs such as these, here you'll see the strong influence of KTH in the industry, where when I attend these career fairs, you see so many KTH alumni who are employed in these different companies, and they come to not only build networks with students, but just give testimonial of how their KTH education helped them to where they are today.
It is cool to see, and also it's since they choose to come here because they want to meet the student, because they want to show off.
True,
but they still want to be loyal to their own alma mater. So they want to come back and show that, come to me, and we can continue your career afterwards.
Okay, so now I think we've discussed all the 5 aspects that we wanted to discuss. Of course, there are many more reasons why to choose KTH. We just discussed 5 of them. But if you have any more questions, any more curiosities about KTH, you want to know more what you can get out of KTH, don't be afraid to contact us. And go through the KTH website, look at all the resources made available. So for example, on the KTH website, as you may know, we have student ambassadors for each and every master's program here at KTH. So who are they? They are international students and some local students from each program, and they are here to answer all your questions. There is an embedded form on the KTH website for you to ask them your questions. And before asking them, you'll be able to read more about them, what they study, if they had work experience before, or they just newly graduated from their bachelor's degree, what courses are like, and even some aspects about student life, which you may not be able to even find in webinars such as this, but you'll be able to see in detailed interviews such as the ones on the KTH web.
Make use of these people because they will give you the best answers. Everything else, we can just tell you the information, but they will tell you the details of how it's actually like.
Yeah. So, for example, so just to tell you what's on the screen, so the QR code that you see on the right of your screen. So if you scan that, it will direct you to the correct web page. But as you scan that, let me tell you about this friend of mine who is on the most left on the screen, Shapara from Pakistan, and she's studying with me in the program Sustainable Urban Planning and Design. And the coded quote shown in the screen, she talks about the Funka services, and these are services for students provided by KTH for those with special needs, which goes to show that there's so many things such as health services, services for special needs, career support, mental health support, several of these available for KTH students while you are studying at KTH. So it's a treasure trove of information at the KTH website.
And of course, as KTH, we want to help you succeed. So whatever we can do to assist you to finish with a high degree, good grades, and something that you're proud of, that's what we should help you with.
Okay. Okay, so that concludes our webinar on why you should choose, or why we think you should choose KTH Royal Institute of Technology.